Hello everyone, I am Ajay Sharma, student teacher of Army Institute of Education, Greater Noida, which is affiliated to Guru Gobind Singh Indraprasth University, New Delhi. Today's the topic of my presentation is types of schools in India, which is under Bachelor of Education. So let's have a look on this topic. Before I start, there is a beautiful definition, there is a very crisp definition that is as the word school is normally associated to building, students, curriculum and instructions, teachers and administration. So if we talk about building school, so school is the building which is normally associated to building, students, curriculum and instructions, teachers and administration. So these all stakeholders which we have discussed here are basically these are the stakeholders, like this is administration, this is teacher, this instructions and curriculum. So these all are basically associated to this building, and according to the Oxford Dictionary, which defines an institution for educating children, means a building for educating children, any institution at which instruction is given in a particular subject. So any institution which gives instructions on a particular subject or on a particular discipline, so that is called school. Now let's move on further to another. Educational structure means there is a structure of Indian education system, and this entire PPT is all about types of school in India, and I am going to tell you about the education structure which is exist in India. So the first thing is preschool, means when a student is of the age of 3 to 4 year, he go for preschool, which is also called before school or Montessori school system. So this kind of system which is called preschool, basically this is not compulsory. Actually in this age child not always ready to go to school. So in not in every case, but yet in few cases, their parents, their mother will definitely will try to make his vocabulary strong, make his thing much more clear, just as school do. And this system is also known as Montessori system, because that is called preschool system. Private schools. Now there are private play schools as well, as there are some government play schools are also there. So there are some private play schools, and to get admission here, a child should be age to 3 years. Okay, so that that child would be able to manage the things, would be able to live in a different environment other than home. Then kindergarten system is there. Kindergarten system means where the student get admission when he or she is of 4 to 6 year of age, and they make prepare them for their primary schools. So kindergarten, as we have studied, like LKG, lower kindergarten, upper kindergarten, and before that there is nursery, which is also called as uh, play school, or it is also called as private play schools. Then after kindergarten there is primary school. So primary school are basically 1 to 5th standard. Okay, so basically private schools, in if we talk about private schools, so in private school you have seen that there are preschools in which a child get information, certain vocabulary by his or her parents. Then it comes to play school where the child study things by playing. Then comes to kindergarten, that is LKG and UKG. Then primary school, which is 1st to 5th standard. So these schools are basically 1st to 5th standard. Many schools are comprehension of all this structure, but few schools are made separately for different educational structure. So standard we can refer here as class, or we can refer here as grade. So this is grade which is first to fifth standard, and the age of the child is 6 to 10 years. Then middle school. Middle school is basically the school in which the classes are upper primary and lower high secondary. So that is class 5th to 8th, standard 5th to 8th, or we can say grade 5th to 8th, 5th to 8th, and the age of the child is 11 to 14 years. And if we move on to the next slide says the next type of structure, that is secondary school. The next step, the next structure of education is secondary school, which comprises ninth and 10th classes, or we can say ninth and 10th standard. Then high secondary. High secondary means class 11th and class 12th. And then we move on for further study, for higher study, which is called undergraduate courses. So it is refer here a UG, a 3-year degree, which is specialized course होते हैं जिसमें like for a particular discipline, for a science, for arts, for humanity. So for particular and for specialized courses, we got a 3-year degree. And then uh, people go for people go for postgraduate. So here postgraduate is something which is after graduation, right? So it is also called higher education, and in which a person got mastery in his particular subject, the subject in which he or she has got graduation, he got masters in it by doing post graduation. For example, a student Ram, he got admission at the pre-primary school, or we can say a play school. So if he is at the age of 2 years or 3 years, he get admission there, and then he is moved when he will be able to speak, when he will be able to write, then he will be sent to the play school where he can learn by playing, and then he will move to the kindergarten like LKG and UKG, and then to the primary from class 1st to 5th, and then upper primary, that is 6th to 8th, and then secondary from 9th to 10th, and higher secondary, that is 11th and 12th. Then undergraduate courses, suppose if he has science in 11th and 12th, so he will opt for BSc. And it's not mandatory that he will always opt for BSc. He can do BA as well, BCom as well. It is in his hand. And if he wants to do postgraduate in the subject in which he has done graduation, so he can do MSc if he has BSc in his college, and if he has a BA, so he can do MA. If he has BSc, then he can do MSc. According to the RTE 2009, schooling is free, compulsory for all children. So here we have to keep this thing in our mind. There's schooling from age 6 to 14 is free, and it is basically it is a right to education act. Right to Education Act, which was passed in 2009, which says that every student has a fundamental right to get education which is free and compulsory between the age 6 to 14 years. So this is the right of each and every student, of every child in India. Types of school, if we talk about, the first type of school is private school. The second type of school will be going to introduce about public school. The third is international school. The fourth is National Open School, and the fifth is Special Need School. So we're going to introduce these things one by one, these types of schools one by one. The first type of school is private school. A school founded, conducted and maintained by a private group. So private school, as name itself in telling its meaning, that the school which is run by, which is founded, which is first it should be founded, right? So the school which is founded, the school which is then conducted, the school which is then maintained, means a lot of expenditures are there related to school. So all these things, if these things are maintained by, if these things are done by a private group rather than the government, so that school is called private school. So private schools, there are a lot of ample of resources are there available, because they are being private funded schools, so they are just for the sake of so somehow they, if we compare private school with the government school, so somehow the resources are more in private school as compared to government school. Then extracurricular activities are more in private school if we compare them in terms of extracurricular activity with the government schools. So basically these are more in private school rather than government school. There are safe environment in the private school because students are paying high amount of fees, because parents are paying for a high amount of fees for their students, and they want proper education and they want everything for their students or for their child. So they pay large amount of fees, and that's why a private school give them a lot of things like ample of resources for their better learning. Extracurricular activities will be there performed by the students, and safe environment is given by the students or by the school to the students so that they could feel comfortable and easy while doing study. Free fees is very high as compared to the public government school. In private school, fees is very high. Then the next is public school. If again talk about public school and government school, then in government school there are midday meal facilities available here. Midday meal facility means government provided food for the students who are there, who have there in the government school. Free books and uniforms are available also by the government to the students. And retention, why this midday meal facility and why these free book and uniforms are available for the students, so that the students got retented to the school. Because what actually happened that when a school student get admission in these government school, they don't retain for a long period because it's a kind of free education. So parents most of the time think that it is free education, like it's not necessary to send their wards to the schools. So to retain their admission in the school, government had laid many policies like midday meal facility and free book and free books and uniform facilities, so that students get in, always remain in touch with the school and always be regular in the school. But due to the lack of adequate infrastructure and technology, government schools certain have certain drawbacks as well, because of government is providing each and everything regarding of adequate infrastructure and technology. So this is one of the drawback. Uh, Now the next type of school is international school. International school which bases on international, like an international school is a school that promote international education in an international environment. Means such type of school is basically providing international education. Means this type of schools are based on education of foreign country, of abroad education, and the environment is provided to the student is also an international environment. Means all the things are basically acquired from the foreign education system. International schools were set up for families who travel, like children of personnel of international companies, international organization, non-government organization, NGO, and embassy staff. So basically this type of school are open just for the children who are the children of personnel who are working in international companies. Suppose a person who is working outside India, or the have the citizenship of outside the India, and he has to live along with his family in India due to his job. So his for his children, they can take admission in international school so that he could feel comfortable with the environment provided by the school. The next type of school is national open school. This type of school is also refers to as distance learning. Means, for an example, there are many students who basically have left their school due to certain family issues, and they have some aspiration in their mind, in themselves, that they want to continue their study, but there is a age is not enough. I mean, there is age is not being suitable, or we could say that their age is not being as young as the student of the age of that class. So they feel somehow ashamed, they feel somehow shy to go to a regular classroom. So they can opt their schooling by taking their admission in open school. Like in India, NIOS, that is National Institute of Open Schooling, is there, which gives admission to those who wants to do their schooling in an open schooling or distance learning. Means they can do this, they can do their schooling without going regular into the school, and they can prepare their for their exams by living at their home. NIOS was established by the Ministry of Human Resource and Development, which is now named as again Ministry of Education. So Ministry of Human Resource and Development, that is MHRD, it established NIOS and in 1989. So this is one of the major steps taken by the government of India for providing education for all, because a lot of people are there who feel so much restrained. They restrain their schooling education just due to the family issues. So this is a very well done step taken by the government. Now in these pictures you can see there are a lot of schools like Rayan International School, Global Indian International School, and this is also another Indian International School. So these are certain international schools which we have already discussed. Then the another type of school is special need school. Special need school is basically constructed or founded for those who are having special need, or which were, and this idea of thought that the student cannot join the regular school is not applicable right now, because NCF 2005 and many policies and like Idea Act is there. Like there are a lot of things who have proved that these students should also been integrated, also been included in the regular classroom, in the regular school, so that a lot of things can be improved in these students, like their social behavior can be improved, like their social interaction will be improved, and a lot of things are there which will be improved if these students, like those students who are having special needs, they can also manage how to live in a social environment. So a special school is a school catering for the students who have special educational needs due to learning difficulties. Now, the child who has learning difficulties, physical disability, and behavioral problems, these students what actually happened that these students took admissions in special needs schools. For example, Asha school is one of the most popular school for special needy students, because this is army based school which provide education for those who are who have special need. So these school basically cater for the students who have special education needs, and special school may be specifically designed staff and resource to provide appropriate special education for the children and with additional needs. And these school are specifically designed, and it has certain staff which is trained to give education for the special education children. Thank you.